Volunteers did it, man. They snapped the streak after 20 some years of losing in the swamp, man. They finally did it. And really, the writing was on the wall, I think, kind of going into this. This felt like the year to do it. It really almost felt like if they didn't do it this year, then we had bigger issues than just losing to Florida. But yeah, man, watching the game, like I said, super excited about that game. It went the way we wanted it to go. A lot of positives to take away from it. We looked good. How'd you feel about watching it, man?
Yeah, man. I think it like set in more like this morning and like the day after this game and like kind of like that we finally won there and I started because like last night watching it was great and it was cool to see us get that win. I mean, it's been since 2003, man. But when I started thinking about it in perspective, I was 13 years old whenever we won
Yeah,
there last. I'm 35 now. But
yeah,
I
dude.
think it had to set in a little more after. I think the way our season kind of had went this year, there was some really high moments, but then not like got a little that Oklahoma loss kind of disappointed us, and I almost felt like I was letting that take off the edge of the excitement of this game. Um, but as I like got to watching it and man, and then I sat and thought about it, I was like, that's a big um moment for Tennessee. Even though Florida, some people, I know the haters are out there saying Florida's record, they've been down this year, you all should have won, and yeah, that may be true. But this was like something we hadn't accomplished in a long time, so it's another thing that Josh Heupel gets to add to his list of achievements that he's had. And I know we've had moments where we've really kind of had some negative things to say this year, but I think this is a big positive. And I said this was a game I really wanted Tennessee to get, man, and to get that win down there in the swamp. And there was never a question in that game yesterday.
Yeah,
As Tennessee fans, you almost always are a little nervous about what if they're going to, they start quick sometimes, anyways this year, so you kind of get that. But when they went down, man, and I know when they went up 21 to nothing, in my head I was like, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they did let up. I will say that the second half I was a little frustrated with it at times, but they did unfortunately let up. But they were up 31 to nothing at halftime, man, and it just never seemed like Florida really had a chance in this game. And that's what made me impressed. Is the defense was playing great. Overall the team was dominant, and it just didn't look like. Uh, I think we got in Florida's head a little bit early too. I
oh
think
yeah,
the kind of almost one big moment that I think really kind of solidified it and made Florida give up is when DJ had that big run and they were driving down in the first half. There was obvious frustration for how the game was going at this point. So, and out of emotion, I know he kind of like gave it the big first down signal after trying to pump his team up, and everything. And then after that, getting down that far, not only do they get stopped, they miss a field goal right there. And then Tennessee got to go down and make a field goal and make it 31 to nothing. That was
yeah,
the moment I think when they missed that field goal and they didn't score there. I think Florida truly gave up um,
yeah,
overall in this game.
yeah, yeah, man. I agree with you, dude. Just an incredible game. This was in that first half, man. This was kind of like the Tennessee team that you kind of have wanted to see at certain points in the
Yep.
season. And I've seen a lot of people online saying, "Congratulations, Tennessee! You beat a 3-7 Florida team." When it comes to this rivalry, it doesn't matter the record of either team. Most of the time, it didn't look like it last night, but most of the time, they're
Yeah.
going to give their all, and you're going to play a tough game regardless. But this year, like you said, man, you said you were what 13 years old last time Tennessee beat Florida at the
Yeah, man.
Swamp. Man, I was 11 years old, so it's like this is something that hasn't really happened much in our adulthood. Well, it hasn't happened in our adulthood at all. So it was really sweet to see it. Just pure domination, man.
Yeah.
In every statistical category in that first half. I've got a few little things written down here, not much, but in that first half, and really that's about all we can talk about in this one, and we can get to
Yeah.
that here in just a minute. But in that first half, Tennessee obviously scored 31 points. They had 323 total yards. And you would have thought, just based on what you've seen Tennessee do to teams in the past, that a lot of those yardage in the first half would have been passing yards. That wasn't the case, man. We gashed them for 248 rushing yards in that first half. 19 first downs. I mean, we were just moving the ball. It was just so fluid. Everything looked so well scripted from like an offensive strategy standpoint. Everything was going our way. We scored on the first 4 possessions of the game, just automatic, effortless, really at times. Minimized a lot of our penalties as well. You know, we had a couple there, but yeah, minimized a lot of our penalties, and really all of that combined is what helped propel us to get the W, man. And you know, we can. I know we're going to talk about the second half and our gripes about how Josh Heupel handles situations just like this, but you know, to not score at all in the second half and still win by 20 is a little insane. And to me, it just oftentimes during the game it kind of looked like that Florida team that got beat by Kentucky. You could tell that they were defeated. You
Yep.
could tell that this season has just been way too much for them, and they've chalked it up, man. And kudos to Tennessee for playing well and executing and doing what you were supposed to do. But we played a defeated team
Yep.
in the swamp, man. You know what I mean? A team with no motivation, no drive. Um, but you know, I was hoping that we were going to get a team that just played, even though there was nothing to gain from winning other than bragging rights and keeping the streak alive. I was hoping to see something from Florida, and we didn't get anything from them, honestly. I mean, I don't think.
I know. I mean, our buddy that's a Florida fan, he texted us what, like, it was either 14 to nothing or 21 nothing. It was early in the game, and he was just like, "Good game."
Yep.
Told us he said, "Good game, guys." And that's not. I mean, that just goes to show like um, how that game was for Florida. It just never was a moment to where they just seemed like they had fight in them, man. It just. I almost wonder if they knew that they were probably going to get beat. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't say that. I don't think that's the mentality of a lot of players, but do you think they kind of had that mentality of like, man, I don't even know if we're going to win this game?
Yeah.
And even though like the confidence that Florida usually has in the swamp, the team that has showed up at times this year, when we talk
Oh
about
yeah.
a team that had a bad record, we've talked about how Florida, if they show up, they have talent. I just think a very long defeated season for them showed up, and that's not taken away from what Tennessee did, getting the win like they did in the swamp. But I think that's why you've seen a dominant win.
Yep.
It wasn't a. It's they rolled over quick, man, and
Very quick.
maybe in the get go it was kind of they had a little bit of. I just seen a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
From Florida. There was, even with DJ, you could see him getting frustrated, and Tennessee got confidence fast. Once they
Yes.
realized that, it was like their defense seemed confidence they haven't really been able to have much this season.
Yep.
And I mean they were flying all over the ball, man, and they just created some pressure and just Florida just didn't. It just looked very outmatched, and
Yep.
you know as a Tennessee fan, though, I'm happy that we get that win there and we dominate to get
Yep.
that win there. Regardless of the second half, I know, you know, Josh Heupel pulled back so much, and he's been notorious for doing that. I would have liked to have at least seen the early on third quarter, maybe try to get like another touchdown, go up 38 to 3 there, and that or 38 to nothing. I mean, in the early third quarter or something before you kind of pull back. I get trying to, at some point, just running out some clock, just letting realizing. I think that was another thing too, though. I think there were a lot of confidence in our defense at that point to realize
Yeah.
that Florida wasn't going to give you much. So
Yep.
if you could kind of take some time off the clock and just let this game roll out, by the end of it, we were just trying to get out of there. At this
Yeah.
point, no injuries and just trying to get out. But I don't know. There was some frustrating moments, but I don't even think I want to focus on that just because of how
Yeah.
monumental of a win that is for the program. And the people that are saying, "Oh, they were this or that," they're not being Tennessee fans who's had to watch us lose in Florida year
Right.
in and year out. And so that's at this point too, man. That's Josh Heupel's third win over Florida.
Yep.
and got the one in their own house. So
Yep.
um, he's done some great things when you really look back
Oh yeah.
at what's been going on. So and this was that. I think I said it earlier. I was like, after the Oklahoma loss, I said, going forward, you got to finish the year strong, though, because you still had some things to play for. You still had a milestone in getting that win down in Florida. Um, and we'll get more into the next one, in the episode later this week. But you got a chance to, Vandy's fighting to get in a playoff spot. You got a
Yeah.
chance to knock them out at home, and that would
That's
be
all the
a,
motivation you need
yeah,
too for that one.
that'd be a home win to ruin Vandy's season as far as like their higher expectations
Yep.
would be, and get to still call him little brother if you do that. So there's things still to play for. So, and I think they showed up, and Tennessee seemed motivated. They seemed like they really wanted to get that win
Yep.
down in the
Yep.
swamp.
And that's exactly what you want to see, man. Like you said, especially after, about midway through the season, that was
Yep.
really an eye-opening moment for me as a fan personally. And we talked about it on the podcast. Was, man, like, did you see what we did against Georgia? We really might be a lot better than I thought we were going to be this season.
Yeah.
And then the playoff hopes talk started, getting brought up quite a bit, and all of that good stuff. And the national media started talking about Tennessee a little bit more. And then, like you said, you suffer your second loss to Bama, and then you take that devastating loss at home against Oklahoma, and you want to just know, how will this team respond with really nothing really left to play for. And they did exactly what you want a good football team to do. They went down to the swamp, and I don't know that we're stressing this enough. It doesn't feel like I am anyway. But I mean, we actually won in the swamp, man. Like, this is
Yeah.
something that, like we said, it just hasn't happened. We don't do it. It was like a curse, and we finally broke that curse. And you touched on it as well, man. Josh Heupel, the things that he's been able to do since coming to Tennessee, had a lot of people haven't been able to do it. I mean, Philip Fulmer was the last guy to do some of the things that Josh Heupel's been able to do. I'm sure we'll get into it in the off season a little more because it's really not enough room or time to talk about subjects like this. But what's it going to take for Josh Heupel to, although he's done all these good things and broke some streaks and beat some teams that Tennessee struggled with for decades, what's it going to take for Heupel to take that next step and take this program to the next step? And that'll be a huge conversation piece, probably in the off season for us when it comes to Tennessee. But yeah, man, I don't really know what else to say about this one. It feels so good. It almost feels surreal in a way, to be honest with you. But Joey Aguilar, I said it in the last episode, he had an opportunity to do something that so many quarterbacks in Tennessee history haven't done, and he did it. He looked great doing it. He looked poised in the pocket, and with our running attack and our defensive play, man, we got the job done finally down there in the swamp, man. Feels so good.
Feels good, man. I was about to say it feels good. I know we probably rambled a little on it, but I feel like we deserve to. It's something that we definitely, as Tennessee fans, we're overdue to get a win like this. And in a season like this, that's something that you really want to see. Something that kind of can really just brighten it up from some of the things that have happened. And we're sitting at 8-3, man. So we are on pace to do what we said. We just got to get that final one of the season, and then focus on that bowl game or wherever we're going to end up, and move on from there. So, but yeah, it was definitely cool to see, man.
Yeah, looking back on our preseason predictions for the schedule, I'll trade a loss to Oklahoma for a win over Florida any day.
Yeah. I would trade those. If we were going to lose 3 games, I would have it to be like the way it was, and take this one, and for sure.
Yep, for sure, man. Well, really, this week, week 13 in college football, there really wasn't a whole lot going on. There was probably only a handful of pretty good games this weekend. We did have our game of the week that we're going to get to. Let's go ahead and just knock out the Oklahoma-Missouri game real quick. Really low-scoring game. going into this one, I think you and I both predicted Oklahoma to win this game. I thought that they would win in a much bigger fashion. You know, they only won 17-6.
Yeah.
They did completely shut down Missouri's offense, though. I mean, Missouri really isn't notorious for having a really, really good offense, but
Yeah.
I think it was clear that Oklahoma is the much better team in this one, but they didn't really win as big
Yeah.
or as much as I thought they would.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking on the Missouri offense, if you shut their running back down, man, you shut their offense down. And I think I text you that, and I was like, they don't have anything to answer for in the passing
They
game.
don't.
So that's a real problem with Missouri football for any Missouri fans. That's concerning moving forward because you don't have anything other than the running game. As far as Oklahoma, man, they do kind of how they've been doing though. They
Yep.
win these games. Their offense isn't going to look too flashy. I mean, they had a big, I don't know, had a really big touchdown reception at one point and
Yep.
everything there. But they just don't look like some superstar offense. Or their defense does great,
Right.
and they're just a grinded out tough team. And I think that's what they do, man. And that's their style. Like that's who they are. You know, we talk about being who you are, and sometimes that's just who you're going to be for the season. It seems to be who they're going to be, and they just create problems though for teams, man.
They do.
So I can't knock them. They're deserving to be where they're at, and but at the same time, it's not going to be some flashy like we got Heisman candidates all over the place. They're just going to go in there and give you a tough game, and been
Yep.
winning here lately. So
Yep.
be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes and play for them because it'll be playoff stuff and everything going on there with that. So
Yep.
uh, be real interesting to see how that goes. I'm sure Oklahoma's. I don't know who they got for their last game of the season, but I'm sure they're in a really good spot for getting to the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, they play LSU for their last game of the season.
Okay, yeah. And I think
And
they're
they
going
have
to
a
get that
home
W.
game for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think without a doubt, man, Oklahoma's not to spend too much time on this, but Oklahoma's definitely looking like a playoff top team, to be honest with you. They're
Yeah.
finding ways to win in big games, beating Bama, beating Tennessee,
Yeah.
coming out with a win in this one. Yeah, Oklahoma's looking good, man. Right there where they probably should be. So moving on, you want to go with the upset alert first, or do you want to talk about the game of the week first? How you want to do it, Mike?
Let's just go ahead and throw out the upset alert. We've got one this week. We go ahead and just get that out of the way. Of course,
Yeah.
Georgia Tech, man, losing to Pittsburgh 42-28. They made a moment to where it looked like they were going to come back because I think they were down 35-14. They got 35-28, and then just a little bit too little too late for them. And yeah, man, I didn't really watch this game, but Pitt's one of those dangerous teams, man, and
We talked about it too.
yeah, and we're gonna call it an upset alert, even though I know Pitt was ranked last week before their loss. But Georgia Tech being ranked 16th, man, I mean you got to count it as an upset. And at Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, yeah, unfortunately for Georgia Tech, man, that's gonna be I don't know how that ACC championship picture looks like though. I think what is that their second loss?
Yeah, that's their second conference loss. So at the moment, with Pitt getting that win over Georgia Tech, Pitt still only has one conference loss. So now you've got Virginia, Pitt, and SMU all three with only one conference loss. So
how wild would it be for Pitt to get in there and not being ranked and then win a conference championship and get to the playoffs?
It can happen. It can happen. We talked about the madness of the ACC in the last episode. It's crazy.
Yeah. So this is interesting, though. I mean, I know you hate it because pulling for Georgia Tech like you have kind of been, but it does create some chaos with this upset.
It does. And if you're Georgia Tech, man, I mean, obviously you feel bad about, obviously taking the loss and everything like that, but you can't expect any other real result, honestly, when you spot a team 21 points. You let Pitt score 21 on. Yeah, first quarter you go down 21-0, man. I mean, that's a difficult. They gave themselves a huge hole, a very difficult hole to climb out of, and they almost did it.
Yeah.
But I know you said you didn't really watch it. At the end of the game, the game was 35-28, and Georgia Tech was actually getting ready to score, but Haynes King threw an interception, man, pick
Mhm.
six actually, and that's what put the game 42-28. And yeah, that they did it to themselves though, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you can never spot a team 21 points and then go to
No.
battle. You've
No.
got to play all four quarters, and we've talked about that a lot in this
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Yeah. And turnovers and yeah, all that stuff too. So
Yep. So, but yeah, that's the upset alert. Really, even though Pittsburgh hasn't really had too terrible of a season, obviously an unranked opponent beating Georgia Tech like that. At the time, I think Georgia Tech was ranked number 16. I don't know where they'll fall now, but yeah, that's definitely upset alert. And then the game of the week, the Fourth and Whatever podcast game of the week, we had USC going down to Oregon, or technically up to Oregon, I guess you could
yeah.
say. And Oregon got the win, man. Oregon 42-27. This game was exciting, high scoring. I thought just watching it, and you can go, you can tell us what you think, Mike. But watching this game, I felt like there were certain moments in the game where it felt like Oregon could have kind of took more control of the game and beat them much sooner than they did. Because the final score 42-27. I mean, that I consider that somewhat of a blowout win, a big win.
Yeah.
But there were opportunities in the game that Oregon had that could have made this game even worse on the scoreboard than it was. But really good game, man. Really exciting game to watch. Entertaining for sure.
Yeah, man, and yeah, USC. I mean, kudos to them. They had moments where they kept themselves in the game, made big plays. I seen
Yep.
an insane touchdown catch early in the game by
Yep.
one of their receivers. And but Oregon, man, Oregon's just a good team, man. Their one loss, their only loss came against Indiana in a
Right.
close game, and that's the number
Right.
two team in the nation. So Oregon's definitely tough. I think they got one more game against Washington, and I think this game, I think they'll win that. I mean, that is a trap game potentially because it is a a rival, but I
Yeah.
think them taking care of USC like they did in that just showcases that's a solid win for them to win by what they did against who their opponent was. And I mean they're a shoe in for the playoffs, man. Oregon's got could definitely controls their own destiny. They win in this Washington game next week. They're definitely in, no question. So I think this is the game they went. Yeah, I think you said that we were talking about this game a little bit, and I think you said that it was like a 99% chance for them to get to the
Yep.
playoffs if they won this game. So,
Yep.
congratulations to Oregon, man. I wanted Oregon to win. I think me and you both have not really hid the fact that we do like Oregon. We,
Yep.
a lot of times do pull for them in games. So I like seeing them in there, and I hope they do well and everything in the playoffs too. So, but yeah, they definitely were the better team in this one, I
Yep.
think, and it showed.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no question, and really good quarterback play from Oregon's quarterback. I think it's Dante Moore. Is that his? I think that's his first name. I know his last name is definitely Moore.
Yeah,
But really good quarterback play from him. He throws the ball extremely well. He has really good pocket presence. He doesn't really like to scramble a lot, and they talked about that in the game a little bit. Where if you see him rolling out, he's not looking to run unless it's just an
yeah,
obvious wide open path. He's
yeah.
looking to pass still, even running outside the pocket. I really like watching him play, and I think Oregon is going to be one of those sneaky teams, man. We've kind of talked about it. They're in their conference, man. Ohio State, Indiana, those two teams seem to be getting all the praise and all the glory, and then right over here you've got Oregon, just
Yeah.
kind of sitting back in the shadows. Like you said, they're most likely not gonna be in the conference championship game, so they're not gonna have to play an extra game. They're just gonna be sitting back waiting. Um, so really a scary team going into
Yeah.
the playoffs with a lot of momentum. They look good. Uh, their play looks good and their style looks good.
Yeah.
Their freaking uniforms are always incredible.
Always.
Their helmets this weekend were nuts, man. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe how good they looked. So yeah,
Be
Oregon got them.
be pretty cool maybe to see them get a little revenge there against a certain team up in Ohio whenever playoffs come, wouldn't it?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be cinema, dude. It's gonna be pure
Yeah.
cinema. I can't wait to talk playoff talk on the pod, man. It's going to
Uh,
be insane. But kind of looking ahead to next week, don't forget a lot of the games being played next week are going to be on Friday. So I don't want any of our viewers to just tune in on Saturday. You've
yeah,
got you've got Georgia Tech. They're actually playing on Friday. That was a crazy game last season.
yeah.
Eight
Oh yeah,
overtimes, was it? I think it went into
it
eight
was nuts, dude.
overtimes. So you never
Nuts.
know. You never know what could happen in that one.
Texas A&M in Texas is playing Friday night,
Yep,
7:30, dude.
yep. Don't want to miss that one. Of course, Texas is probably cemented regardless of what happens. I mean, they're sitting at
Yeah,
11-0. Taking a loss to Texas isn't really going to hurt them as far as the playoffs are concerned. But I'm sure. I mean, who doesn't want to go undefeated in the regular season? So
exactly.
definitely going to be watching that game. And then we'll be doing our preview episode on Friday.
Mhm.
Tons of games, man. Rivalry week. We're going to be mentioning, a certain Ohio State Michigan game. Definitely going to be previewing that game for everyone out there.
Oh
Just
yeah.
big time games, big time rivalry games.
Vandy and
Um,
Tennessee, man. I mean, there's so many big games for us
yeah, yeah,
coming up this weekend.
yeah. I can't wait to get into that episode. But as far as this week goes, just to kind of reiterate, man, it felt so good to get that win in the swamp. And I hope for years to come because hopefully we're still doing this podcast the next time Tennessee plays
Yeah,
Florida in the swamp. Got a few years to wait on the game now, man. Unfortunately.
yeah. Maybe then it'd be kind of sweet by then if we got like a this is our full time thing and we got like a
Oh
studio set up or something. Maybe by that point have like a full on thing going by then. That'd be nice
yeah,
on that. But got some
that would.
time, so
Yeah, we got some time to prep and prepare for that one, man. But
yeah.
as far as this episode goes, Mike, is there anything else you want to bring up? Anything else you want to talk about, or anything like that?
One thing I do want to say, and I just want to bring it up because it's such an interesting stat. Not really going to talk on this game much because ain't a lot to say. But dude, Notre Dame being up on Syracuse, 21 to nothing, and their offense didn't even touch the ball, had not stepped on the field. What an interesting stat, man. And
Yeah.
obviously they won 70-7. So I'm not really going to say much about the game, but you're in trouble when the offense ain't even stepped on the field and you're down 21 to nothing.
Yeah,
That is
that
an crazy
that
stat.
yeah, that's crazy. You could probably watch football for a long time and
Yeah.
never see a stat line like that. Of course, for those of you who are watching this episode that don't know what Mike's talking about, um, Notre Dame scored 21 points to open up the game, and
So,
and two of them were pick sixes, and one of them was a punt return for a touchdown.
yeah.
So, I mean, anytime the other phases of the game are scoring points for you,
Yeah.
um, you're going to probably have a good day. And
Absolutely.
70-7 is just an absolute massacre. That's what
Insane.
I wanted Tennessee to do to Florida. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie about it.
I don't know
Um,
about that, but
I wanted to see 20 years worth of points
dumped into one game.
dumped
Like
into
I,
one game.
it's like we're playing NCAA when you're angry and your team just lost.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, man, it is what it is. Heupel just, I guess he wanted to show some
Yep.
mercy on him or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah, and
another
I think
exciting week, man.
exactly, and I think as far as we might have mentioned this in our last week, but as far as we were always been doing the AP poll reactions, but
Yep.
we're focused more on the college football playoff things now. End of the season's kind of going on, so
Yep.
if for all you watching it don't hear that this episode, that's kind of I think we're beyond like really worrying too much about AP poll at this point.
Yep.
We're just looking at those college football playoff rankings, and they don't, of course, come out when we're doing these recording
Yep.
this because it won't be out until Tuesday. So just wanted to throw that out there for anybody that's missing that in this episode.
Yeah. And what we'll do is on our Friday episode, we'll react to the college football playoff rankings. I think it wouldn't. I think it would be kind of cool, Mike, before the playoffs actually start, to kind of do an episode where and we can talk about this behind the scenes, but it might be cool to
Mhm.
have an episode at some point where you and I kind of play out a bracket,
Yeah.
and talk about it and maybe predict a national champion. You know, who knows? I
Oh
think
yeah.
that would be kind of
I
cool.
think we definitely are going to have an episode like that. I think I've been thinking the same thing.
Yep.
Especially when it comes out, everybody loves to see the predictions. So we definitely want to give a fourth and whatever podcast prediction I think of how the playoffs are going to go.
Yep. That'd
For
be cool.
sure. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But
Well, Mike, heck of a week, man, to be a
yeah, man.
Tennessee fan. Just to reiterate it real quick, Tennessee beats Florida in the swamp for the first time in 22 years, 31-11. And it feels great. And if you're still with us and you're watching, just subscribe to the channel. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. We look forward to finishing this season with you guys, and hopefully have a good off season and all that stuff. But we got a lot of ball left. We got a lot of ball left this season. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you all. And Adam, man, it's been fun as usual, man. And so I'll see you, dude.
All right, bro. Take care, man.